Snowy Winterberg in Germany's Hochsauerland, the venue for the 7th race weekend of the BMW IBSF Bobsleigh and Skeleton World Cup. Well, there is the holiday area just overlooking this bobsleigh track, ski piste, and everything else that goes on in this valley. We are ready for the second and deciding heat of the women's bobsleigh competition, and John Morgan, a snow-affected first heat, saw some interesting results.
Yeah, you expect Team Humphreys, but she was 5th in this event 3 weeks ago, and Sylvia Hoffman and her, not a great start, only the 9th best start of the run. They should get 5th or 6th best, but they took advantage of a late draw, and they were 3rd. Okay, no big surprise, but Wai Ming from China. Okay, 4th last week in a lesser event up in Segulda, her best finish ever, but here she comes 16th. This is when we saw the track getting a little faster. And boy, our eyes were big when she got to the finish line in 2nd place, and so were hers, I'm sure. But there's nothing to be surprised about this team here. Laura Nolte, Deborah Levy, they just made the rest of the field look like they're in a different competition. They're so far ahead, it's ridiculous. But to have this much of a lead on that track, although she was a little late in that finish curve, but this young lady here, Martin, she is establishing herself as the Olympic favorite, and she did win the race in Yangqing in October.
She's had 3 races in World Cup on this track. Bronze, her first ever, and then she's won the last 2. So Laura Nolte with a handy lead. We could well see some fairly major changes behind, though, because there are a number of sleds that are out of position because the track basically sped up as some of the early snow got blown away by the passing sleds, and the racing line basically got cleaned up. Well, there's Kaylee Humphreys. Never want to let an opportunity go by. 3rd place right now. She'll take that, and she will capitalize on it as well. She will clearly see Wai Ming. Yeah, that's a real target. And Van Nieuwenhuis still trying to get snow out of the sled because they don't want to be overweight. And why? Well, she has got plenty to think about. Potential first medal for China. Brianna Walker there on the right-hand side. She had a great opportunity going late in the run as well, and made a pretty decent fist of it. So some entertaining things going on. One change in the start draw, and that will be that Andrea Greco has subbed out her #1 brakewoman, and Teodora Vlad will go in place because they don't want to injure Katarina Witt before the games. So Melissa Lottholtz will be first off. She had a quick start, but then a disastrous run through corner 0 and corner 1. And actually ended up behind Andrea Greco, who had to sit in. We'll go 20 down to 1. Last to go will be Laura Nolte and Deborah Levy, looking for their 3rd straight win on this track. 7th race of the BMW IBSF Women's Bobsleigh World Cup. We're in snowy Winterberg in Germany. Melissa Lottholtz and Sarah Villani, after a start disaster in the first heat, get us underway. Martin Haven and John Morgan watching the action in this 2nd heat. .556 getaway, a little faster than their first, and nice and clean from 0 through to 1. Uphill now into turn 3 and over the brow to turn 4. This is a very flat and slow accelerating part of the track, dropping out of 5. Coach's favourite next to the donut stand. And then into the Kreisel, 270-degree turn. Looking to build speed down the track. And she was only a short step behind Andrea Greco of Romania, so she should be looking to move up. Much tidier run lower down from Melissa Lottholtz. Track is cleaner, she's got more speed on board, more of what she was hoping for. 124.8 at the bottom, and across the line, 58.31. Well, the track is undoubtedly going to be quicker. They have been sweeping in the 30-odd minutes between the heats as well. Not in the finish straight, but the sled coming right up to a stop by the coaches. So that's something we've not seen so far this morning. Better run from Melissa Lottholtz from start to finish, and that should hopefully get her in.
Good lines out of curve 9. And she should move up 4 or 5 spots, Martin. I mean, she's accomplished, pretty good results all season. Just too bad that she had that mishap at the start. That's pretty much the norm. Well, mishap, not allowed, but she's going to live in that leader's box at least for 3 sleds.
Yeah, very good chance of some major moves, but from 20th, yeah. Here's Andrea Grecu. We saw in the Monobob race yesterday, she was really struggling. Teodora Vlad is in, as I said, 24 years old, Teodora. 9th World Cup start for her. Her last was Eagles in January last year.
So this is one of our 3 wounded athletes that we know of, Martin. Kaylee Humphreys is another one. But, you know, it's a long season. They start getting on the ice in October. And hamstrings and groins and warming up, sprinting and weightlifting and picking up the sleds. Half the injuries I think people receive are picking up the sled at the bottom and the top and turning it over to work on it. And just a long season, you know, and the athlete that gets to the Olympic Games in top health, well, that's a top athlete, that's for sure, you know. And
going to talk about that a little in the 4-man race, actually, because there are some astonishing, resilient figures in 4-man bobsledding. But Andrea Grecu, well, it was always going to be that she was going to drop behind Melissa Lotholtz, because Lotholtz was unexpectedly out of position. 59.73 for Grecu. She had a 60.9 in the first heat, so that perhaps is a little more representative. They were a fraction slower at the start. Teodora Vlad not quite as quick as Katarina Vick in the push, but she was getting on for a second quicker, 0.8 quicker. It was a little bit of a tidier run, but we might see the track producing maybe a second more speed, even from the very fastest drivers.
Yeah, it was pretty tough to tell from these 2 sleds, because one of them crashed the wall in the first heat. The top, that was Lotholtz, and then this athlete here was just sitting in the sled. So it's, now we got game on.
Yes, our 3rd of 20 sleds, 18th with, what's her advantage? 3300s in hand over Melissa Lotholtz. Lubov-Chernik with Alexandra Tarasova behind her. Chernik, 26 years old, as is her brakewoman. 25th World Cup start for Lubov-Chernik. Her best result here, 9th place in her first race here in 2018. She's not looked like getting close to that since.
No, start time, you know, which is average, but doesn't show driving skills coming down the track. And we'll see that coming up. I mean, you know, she's definitely going to get beat up here by Melissa Lotholtz. Lotholtz had a 1600s better start time. But of course, like we mentioned,
I don't want to curse her, but I sort of feel that we're seeing probably, or potentially, the end of Lubov-Chernik's career. She's only 26 years old. She's physically fit, but she's been out-accelerated by her younger teammate, Anastasia Makarova. She's not getting the results. She may not go to the games. I wonder if she's going to continue or not.
Well, she's a sports soldier that she is. You know, she probably will stay within the mission. I said 3 sleds. I think they might move up 5 sleds.
Yeah. Yeah, there's the soft underbelly of the field that they would normally expect to be ahead of, but of course the gaps will be bigger and bigger with each sled that comes down. So into second place goes Lubov-Chernik. That will mean that she is no worse than 19th, but that's a long way from her best here. Not the greatest cohesion from the start of the great woman.
No, and then they get in this gymnastics move. You know, you think it's easy. You're running about 20 miles an hour, going on down a hill. Then you got to get in and get your arms in there, grab the D-rings, look at the brakeman's arms come up. Very proper technique by the brakeman. Style points, I'll give him an A-.
Well, our 4th sled and our penultimate sled are both from China. This is Yingqing Du Jiani. 4th out, didn't have the best of the conditions, didn't have the best drive either, Yingqing. It's kind of hard to separate the 2 Chinese drivers in this female field at the moment. There's not a great deal between them. They were 4th and 6th last week in Sigulda.
Brakeman's a heptathlete. She's only 22 years old. And the driver, she's from Shanghai. She's a hurdler. But Martin, there's a big separation between this Chinese sled and the one that's sitting in second place.
Sure is. This race is really going to put clear air between the two of them in terms of where they are in the overall rankings. Of course, the chances are that may not necessarily affect which start draw they get in the games. 400s in front. The gaps come down from 2700s.
And she's got the better rank. Martin, she's 8th in points.
Yeah, she did when she woke up in the snow this morning. She may not when she heads back to the hotel. Well, she hangs on by 1200ths. That's what Pierre wants to see. He doesn't want to see them dropping a spot. 58.65, she came down in 60.53, so that's 1.9 seconds better, John.
So we have a better track. We saw the track getting faster after about 10 sleds went down, like snow plows. And how'd she get in here? You know, she looks like driver is in almost the same time as the brakeman. Pretty good. Not, you know, a very pedestrian start. Down here, one thing about these Chinese drivers, the men and the women, they have improved. They've come out this season. Of course, we didn't see them last year. That 1,000 trips they got last year on their home track. Might be some surprises, Martin. Might be
Those chickens are going to come home to roost, aren't they? For sure. All right, what about our silver medalist from Sigulda last week, Misha McNeil and Adele Nicol? First sled out, great start draw on any day other than a really snowy track as it transpires. They'd have been better coming out 19th or 20th. 5.73 the start. Little tash from 0 to 1.
Martin, she's had terrible results all year, and we talked about it, and she comes out of nowhere last week. 16, 20, 19, 18, 17, and then she gets second last week.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that was like, yes, it was a depleted field. There wasn't a lot of top German sleds there, but still got second. Beat a lot of formidable athletes. Here she's back in 15th or so. You know, she's got a huge lead here, so she's going to maintain her position, and she could move up. She went early in the heat, Martin, so she didn't have the fast ice to work with.
No, that's absolutely right. So she's got a great opportunity to hang out in the leader's box a little bit, which is never a bad thing. 5,200s up, 58.37. All right, so that shows how disadvantaged she was by going early as the snowplow. 60.2, yeah, 92
hundredths better. That's a good run, but she's got better ice to work with. But again, Martin, if she would have had that run in the first heat, she would have been the top 7 or 8. But she went early. Well, she was like she was the first person off. Big disadvantage going.
That is a second faster than Wai Ming Ming, who was second, went in the first heat. She had, I mean, normally, start draw number 1, you are dreaming of that. Today, it really bit them. Well, there's Adele Nicol on the right, Misha McNeil on the left. Let's see how long they hang out. They are our leaders with 15 sleds still to go. Anastasia Makarova, fast becoming Russia's #2 bobsled driver, with Elena Mamedova behind her. These two are a formidable combination. They go almost every training run, almost every race together. Her advantage, 2900ths over Misha McNeil. Can she stay in position?
27 years old. She's a track and field athlete. Her favorite athlete, LeBron James. So she must be a big basketball fan.
She's a baller. 5.73, same start as Misha McNeil. 2 5th-place results, her best of the season in Altenburg and Sigulda, the best of her career as well. This is only her 10th World Cup start.
4th best speed, only 1200. She's got to stop the bleeding here, Martin, or Misha McNeil's going to pick her off.
I think Misha may be fairly hopeful.
Misha might pick a few off, so not only this one. Misha went first. She had a big, usually first is a big advantage. Not on this day. First was a disadvantage, but she's coming back. Her best speed.
Coming back. 300s back. How close at the line? 500s back.
So the British move up 1. As they deserve for being sentenced to the first spot. You'll take number one draw, Martin. You'll take number one draw 8 out of 10 times.
No question. No question. Well, when Lee Johnson came back from the coaches meeting with the number one draw for Misha, she must have been thrilled. Opened the curtain this morning. It's coming down, you know, in biblical proportions of snow. She's just going, uh-oh.
Yeah, but now remember, it's the top 10 are the 3 outside the top 10. They do a random draw. Yeah. So that's lucky for her to do that. And then 4th on is the first seed draw. So that's the wild card thing that they do with the top 3.
Misha McNeil still the race leader as we get to Melanie Hassler. She's another of our injured athletes, really jogging off the top, just trying to make the job a little easier for brakewoman Nadia Pasternak, trying to protect that hamstring. You see
that's a pretty good start.
Yeah, they didn't get a bad start, considering it was a jog off 5:72.
Yeah, she's 78 the first heat, so she went 600s better. You know, and this young Swiss athlete, she can do it.
Came out late in the run, so she should have had a slightly better run than she did. A couple of mistakes crept in right at the start, John, and that really undid all of the faster ice that she encountered. But second best speed at the Kreisel.
She had a 5:56 start here, Martin, in the 3 weeks ago race, which is, you know, that's 10/1500ths off her time she just got.
So she should be top 3 or top 4, and by the games probably will be.
This is pretty good. Considering her injury, this is a pretty good run.
3100ths ahead of Misha from the first heat. She hangs on, not quite as quick as McNeil down the run, but she hangs on in her first heat advantage. So the top 2 are covered by 2600ths of a second. Third place, 3100ths back. And that's the vagaries of the snow race, I'm afraid. And Misha McNeil really lucked out in that one.
3 to 4. Look at these little drift there. It's so meticulous to get out of that curve because you're going so slow. Here she gets bumped on the take on to curve 9, you know, and then she's got to go in and have the curve tell her how to get off the curve.
You can see in between the runner marks, there is some snow building up on the track as well, or remaining built up on the track, so you can't be too far offline either or you'll hit that. Well, Anne van Nieuwenhuis, it was an open goal, a great opportunity for her in the first heat, but a mistake from 0 to 1 really cost her. Let's see if she and Sarah Ertz can get in quickly and make the most of this opportunity to perhaps move up the order a little.
Good technique by both of them in the sled, 78, 300 slower, and she makes the same mistake. Boy, you got a deficient start time, and then you do that. And now she's just sitting there. I've been wondering how many times she swore at herself when she did that. Speeds are slow here, you can see it. Not bad there, some drift. All she can do, Martin, I mean, she should stay ahead of Misha McNeil unless things just fall apart here, but if it gets more than 1500ths back here, she's in real trouble. 22, she's in real trouble. She's gonna drop 2. She could drop 3 spots. 3100ths back is the Russian. She's 27. She's right on the edge of beating the Russian. She's right on the edge of Misha McNeil. Could be right to the 100. 2600.
Third of the line by 200ths.
Drops 2.
Yeah.
Well, all you have to do is go to curve 0 to 1.
Yeah. And really disappointing, I'm afraid, for Anne. A great opportunity with the track speeding up at the end of the first heat to come from the backfield. But unfortunately, too much motion, 0 to 1. And again, John,
you got her steered. She steered hard out of there, yeah. She really steered around there. She caused that. That's driver error there. She'll be the first one to tell you that. Here, she got through there okay. This is the curve 9, sets you up for the real meticulous part of the track coming out of curve 9.
No, 0 is a bitch.
Yeah, bitch.
0.
Yeah, well, next up, Mariam Yamanka with Alexandra Burkhardt. Burkhardt was racing in Tokyo in the Summer Games and expects to go to Beijing in the Winter Games. Mariam Yamanka only 12th after the first heat. And that's an indication that she did not make the most of her first run, John.
No, she crashed into the wall before the zero curve, sideways from 0 to 1. Amazing she was in 12th. She was on the podium at the event 3 weeks ago when the Germans swept the podium. There'll be no sweeping of the podium by the Germans today.
No, she's had 6 races in World Cup on this track. She's had 4 silver medals and 2 bronzes. She'll be doing well to get a top 10 today.
Boy,
And
this brakeman, though.
Error.
Yeah, this brakeman is really giving her some flexibility at the start.
Yeah. Suddenly put her right up in amongst the fastest starters.
Yes.
50th World Cup race for Mariama Yamanka. Won't be one that she will necessarily remember that fondly. 58.08, she takes a half-second advantage. So 58.08, that is the fastest run of the competition by a second.
1.78 seconds better. 1.78 from one heat to the other. That's what Winterberg can do. Curve 9. Well, does she flop here? We'll see here. Flops it.
Late. Yeah.
And then she taps. So with that mistake, she's still 1.78 seconds better than her first run.
But without that, could have been 2 seconds better.
Look at the way she falls off here, but look at the way she does not hit. She does not tap there, skids into that curve.
Yeah.
That's a German line. We saw that from the leader, Laura Nolte, too.
Next up, Alana Myers-Taylor, world champion here in 2015. Talked to her after the race in Sigulda last week that she won. She was so looking forward to getting back to Winterberg, one of her favorite tracks. Unfortunately, the weather may not be her favorite today. Gets away in a 5:51.
Great start right there, but you know, Alana just got 6th or 7th spot in the first race here 3 weeks ago. She gets the great starts. I mean, every breaker she matches up with, she gets the great start, but just doesn't hold the speed on the bottom. Ashley Love is now emerging as one of the top brakemen for the U.S. She's a UNLV sprinter. She's got the best speed here, which is a good sign.
Yep. 3,600s up on the Olympic champion. She is hanging on to that lead. Yamanka had the best speed, except in the final curve, and that is Yang of China. Ying of China was fastest of all. Still 3,600s up. Quicker than Yamanka.
Yeah, 57.78. Now, let's say this about Alana. Alana went 5th, Martin. That fast track window didn't open up to about the 10th or 11th sled. So she was in the early sleds. She's going to move up 3-4 spots. But again, the last time she was here, she got 6th. You know, she won her first, she got on the podium for the first time. Look at that line. First time on the podium last week in Sigulda when she won the race.
Yeah.
That wasn't perfect here. It was a little, you know, she's going down a second and a half faster than she went down in the first run. So your eyes are a little bigger, you know.
That's for sure. Yeah, everything's coming at you a lot quicker.
Yesterday, Martin, yesterday's winner, though, on the Monobob.
Yep. So Alana Myers-Taylor is the race leader. 10 down, 10 to go here in snowy Winterberg. We had a tie for 9th place in the first of our 2 heats in this 7th women's bobsleigh race this season. The reigning Crystal Globe winner, Katy Bile and Jennifer Onasanya, 8/10 off the lead. They started the first heat in 5:74. John Morgan, 5:66 in the second.
Well, 1,500s down to Alana Myers, so that's up to 30. That'll go to 3,500s. She might neutralize it. Now she's got to worry about falling 2 spots because Jamaica is right on that number she is now. 4,000s back. She's going to fall probably 2, Martin, unless... But she's a good driver. She bronze medal on this track last year, you know, on this event.
Yeah, last year was her season of seasons. Unfortunately, not this season, which is actually one of her worst that I can remember.
Yeah.
Just struggling to get the timing right.
7th is her best of the year so far. 5,500, she's going to drop back at least 2.
Yeah.
3rd.
Behind, no, just ahead of Melanie Hassler. So Alana Myers-Taylor remains in the lead, 9 to go.
Yeah. Sergeyeva comes up. She's only 200ths ahead. Now, she was tied with Catherine Briel, so...
Yeah, but that gap, yeah, as you said, 200s covering this pair, Katy Biel, and Nadezhda Sergeyeva, 200s ahead of Alana Myers-Taylor. So it's a pretty tight battle of 3 sleds.
Yeah.
And the money's always going to be on Alana in that clinch, isn't it? One of 3 sleds covered by 200s, your money's always on Alana to come out. So, Nadezhda Sergeyeva for Russia with brakewoman Yulia Belomesnik. Nadezhda with a best result here of 4th place on her debut in 2017 in Winterberg in World Cup racing.
Yeah, brakeman's 25 years old from Moscow, track and field sprinter. Sergeyeva lives in, the Sochi area now. She's a heptathlete. She had the race in her hands last week, the leader at the end of the first run, and in the second run crashed. Gave the gold medal away to Alana Myers-Taylor. There's at the bottom is Alana Myers-Taylor.
Yeah, in the red right from the start. And she is going to drop like a stone.
A stone. So Myers-Taylor's going to get one more. I don't know if she's going to get another one after this, but...
Alana will, Yamanka will, Katy Biel might. 4,800s back already. Katy Biel's only 5,200s back. 4,600s.
Stop it right here. Good finish, come on.
Speed. No, I think she's going to drop to 4th. Oh, at the line by 200, she's ahead of Biel.
Well, Sergeyeva with Jamaica and Myers-Taylor in front of her, that's the norm. So there's no surprise here. She's going to finish probably 10th. But, she's 5th or 6th in World Cup standings, 6th in World Cup standings, consistent. But Martin, she lost a lot of time up top that we didn't see, which is so easy to do because this track up top, you go uphill about 15 seconds in, and it's, you can't make a mistake, any part of that up there. Always smiling.
Uphill into turn 1. Well, there are the eyes of our next driver, Cynthia Appia, with Dawn Richardson-Wilson behind her. 4th fastest start, 8th at the bottom. Pretty controlled run from Cynthia. Her advantage over Alana Myers-Taylor is just 1100ths of a second, though. Is that enough to hold on?
Second best start, and she didn't have a very good drive down the track. Her and her brakeman are a formidable start team. Don Richardson's from Edmonton, rugby player, and 100-meter, 400-meter sprinter. So these are 2 good athletes here, but she's got the least amount of trips of almost anybody in the field. Yeah, she's really had a breakout season, though, Martin. She's really done well.
Yeah, done well in the 2-seater sled, done really well in the Monobob as well. She could be a dark horse for the Monobob medal podium when we get to Beijing. Only 11th best speed, though, is dropping away from Cynthia Appia.
She was 7th in the Yangqing event in October, but this isn't a good run, Martin. 4,800, she's going to really fall.
This is her 8th World Cup start as a driver. Alana Myers-Taylor has already had 10 World Cup races on this one track alone, plus the World Championships, plus. So that's the experience differential coming in there. She drops 4 spots.
56 starts.
500s behind Alana at the start, but didn't have the good drive there, Martin. Showed some inexperience there. Watch the drift here. Not bad, but then she's got a little fishtail going on. Watch the back end of the sled here. Another skid going into the Kreisel like that.
Yeah.
How hard does she hit here? Remember in the first heat, they were going so slow they didn't even hit there.
Yeah.
Here, back end, come up. Yeah, she's got some real skidding across the ice, but she's had a great season.
Rocking and a-rolling, and still a top 12 finish. What about Brianna Walker and Kira Rodingius? Kira new to the sport this season, another summer athlete. They started last in the field. 15th World Cup race for Brianna, her 4th here. Best result here is 7th place in December.
2nd place yesterday in the women's Monobob, her 2nd consecutive podium. She has really made a name for herself, and the Australian media are really giving her some great public relations down there where she needs it, because they don't get a lot of support. The Australian Olympic Committee doesn't support bobsledding. It's been that way since the first time I saw the Australian bobsledders in the mid-70s. First guy
Australians have got anything to watch other than the cricket right now, but it's great to see that Brianna Walker is really stirring them up down there. 3rd best speed at the moment, 3rd on the split times. And this is going to be behind Myers, Taylor and Yamanka. 2nd in line, ahead of Mariama Yamanka, creeps in by 200.
Top 10.
Yeah,
it's a good result.
Absolutely.
It's a good result.
Absolutely. And, you know, this is payback for all the times that getting the last start draw gives you the worst ice. She lucked in, she got a bit of decent ice, and she's really taken advantage of it.
7th in this event a couple weeks ago, Martin. You know, this is close to being 7th again.
Yep.
You know, there's...
Well, yeah, absolutely. 2nd with 6 to go. Be her 2nd best result of the season, if not potentially equaling her best.
I don't know if she's going to move up. I don't know if anybody's going to be any other changes. It's going to be pretty tough, but we've seen some really slow times down the track since Alana Myers ripped one off.
Well,
this should be the one.
We're now getting into our top half-dozen drivers. Christine de Bruyn is lying 2nd in the World Cup standings. 4 medals from the 7 races so far this season, from the 6 races so far this season.
In down safely. Velocity, 5th best start, 7th velocity, so that's not great. But Martin, she drives great lines. You know, she's 2nd at World Cup points, and this is her and Alana racing for the World Cup title here. If Alana stays within one place, Alana stays within 1 place, Christina, she will maintain the World Cup title going to San Moritz. And that crystal globe, that's quite a trophy to take home. Alana's won it a couple times. University of Calgary. 2300's back. It's gonna be. It looks like the track's falling off.
Yeah, a little. Now, this is normally what you expect, that the track will gradually degrade. 3rd best speed still. She is going to drop behind, but not behind Brianna Walker. No, she's in front of Walker, but behind Myers Taylor.
That means, well, I can't say she's going to be the World Cup leader, because how many points behind is Laura Nolta? Because she missed last week's race, so she's got 61.
Alana will be no worse than 6th, which is 176, and the winner gets 225, which is
76, 51. And right now they're separated by 61, 39, 59. So Alana will stay the World Cup leader. Going into the final race.
Is it?
No, it's going to be within 10 points.
It's going to be whoever race.
Whoever wins,
globe. Yeah.
Whoever beats each other next week's going to win that globe.
There you go. And Kim Kalicki will be coming up hard on the rails as well. Alana leads with 5 to go. Kim Kalicki with Leonie Fiebig behind her. Leonie back in a sled. They finished in the bronze medal position in this race in December as a combination. And Leonie still fighting for her place in the German Olympic lineup. From nearby Cologne, this is her home track.
Much better start. Wow.
Yeah, great
now,
start.
71 to a 64. But Martin, look at her line. Look at her result. 2nd, 4th, 3rd, 1st. And then she didn't go to Segovia. This is another talent in the German camp. They usually have talent in their camp, but she doesn't get great starts. But she can drive. 200s now. She's going to start to. She stopped the bleeding.
Alana is looking greedily, potentially at a podium for 11th in the first heat.
Now, there comes Kalicki. Snakes through there perfectly. She's got it. 12, pulling away.
Builds her lead. Top speed at the bottom. So is she going to end up in the medals? Ducks
Yeah,
ahead, 57.79. It is possible, isn't it? She did a 59.49, so still 1.7 seconds quicker.
She
The
was
track is
seventh in
still
the first run.
1.7 seconds quicker, as it was for the first few sleds down.
Now, the next sled up is the Swiss. She's going to beat her.
Yes.
And I don't know, Kaylee Humphries, I don't know.
And then
Kaylee
Y
doesn't
of
get
China.
a great start. Yeah, this one got a 700ths better start this heat.
Well, John,
She could, this is a medal. I'm telling you right now, this is a medal.
she was only a 10th out of silver after the first heat. That's a bridgeable gap.
I'm saying now she's going to win the silver medal.
Yeah, I think there's
Bold
a good
prediction.
chance.
Geht besser.
You are.
Did her best. Well, she did. 100th ahead after the first heat of current leader Kim Kilicki was Martina Fontenay with Irina Strabel, 18th in the start draw, and boy, Martina took that advantage with both hands, didn't she? 5.69, clean enough.
She's fourth place one other time in her career on her home track in San Moritz last January, Mark.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Look at the start, though. She's gone from a 77 to a 69. They found another 800s. That's what being in the same room as a medal, that smell of a podium does for you.
Hey, a medal for her is a top 7 or 8 finish. She's been in the back of the pack for a couple years. This year, her best finish is 11th, I think.
Yeah,
so she really hasn't had a great.
Right now, a top 6 would be like an Olympic medal for her. Going to San Moritz next week.
She'll be really excited about it. This will be an Olympic.
This is great for Christine de Bruyn. No, 4th place at the line. It is 4th place.
4th.
Well,
so that's still a great result. That means she's going to finish no worse than 7th.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
That is a big deal. That's way her best result. And Sigulda was a sort of 7/8 field. Here, it is everyone and their dog.
Yeah. Pretty good in the start, too. So she might have been wounded first part of the year. So she can drive. We've seen it, Martin. But the results that she gets is, some of the tracks like Innsbruck and here is because she's got a deficient start.
Yeah.
Here she went late in the heat. She got that good window where the track got fast. Took advantage of it.
Long flowing track like San Moritz played for her. Maybe Beijing will. What about Kaylee Humphries? 2-time Olympic champion, multiple world champion. She knows how to win, but this track has been a tough place for her. She won as a driver back in 2012-13, not since.
Sylvia Hoffman from Philadelphia. She's a software engineer, weightlifter. She's done well. Every sled she's in, ooh, drift there. 61, much better start than they had in the first run. She's going to need that good start.
Hasn't even had a podium on this track in 6 seasons.
Well, she drove well in the first heat, Mark. She was it's already down to 1. That's not good. So she's already lost her advantage. Red numbers here. She drove well in the bottom part of the track, but Martin, I still think she's got a chance for a medal here if she gets beat up by the Kilicki at the bottom.
Still only 200s in it.
Gonna have the best speed. Second best speed there, though. 300.
Here we go. This could be really close. 300ths of a second. That's neat.
Kilicki had afterburners down here.
That is very smooth. Very smooth
back
from Kaylee Humphries.
She's coming back.
This is what the Olympic champions can do.
She could do it.
Oh, no, hundreds. Kilicki's in the medals. Kaylee Humphries is second. Alana Myers-Taylor is third with 2 to go. Kaylee could well take her first medal since 2016 on this track.
I think that's still a medal. I said Kilicki was a medal silver. I think it's still a medal.
It was
good start. 800's better.
Bronze in December 2015 when she was last on the podium, pushed by Melissa Lottholz.
Look at this. Here's the mistake, though. See that? They drifted to the right. That's worth a couple hundreds right there. Yeah. Down here on the bottom, she shows she's got the great eyes and hands, maybe the best in the field. Martin, she drove that sled into that 200 deficiency.
And she drove it back as well. Kaylee Humphries is second. Kim Kilicki leads, 2 to go. Wow,
History.
huge opportunity, but also huge pressure from herself for Wai Mingming of China. Wang Chuan behind her. 4th and 6th, the 2 Chinese sleds in Segulda last week. Wai was
64?
4th.
Oh, Martin, everybody else went faster at the start.
But
These
she
two
is
went 200
straight
slower.
as an arrow.
Yeah, but she's at red numbers now, Martin.
Yep.
I don't know. She's 20 hundredths behind here. She can't do it. 16 hundredths. She's going to fall more, and it's going to be a medal for Humphries. She went in that perfect window of time, Martin, when we saw the track get fast. Now she's going to drop 5 spots.
But she really made the most of it as well.
Still, a Chinese women's sled, 4th last week in Segulda. That caught our attention. We all had really big eyes, though, in the first heat when she came down to the 2nd position, but we also knew the track. There was a little vortex in the track.
Yeah.
The track flipped.
Here she comes, 4200s back, 8th best speed, top 5 at the line. Just ahead of Martina Fontanet by 1 spot.
Still, she's going to finish 6th.
Yep.
4th last week, 6th this.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody's in this field.
Absolutely.
Watch out.
That is a huge result for the Chinese sliders.
I'm putting a red flag up here, buddy. Watch out for this athlete on a track where she's had 1,000 trips. But her start time here was 200 slower. I don't know how much that would have made a difference. And
it might just have been a little bit of nerves and a little bit of guaranteeing that they were clean into the 0 curve.
yeah, she needed
so
300-400 better at the start. She would have stayed up into 4th. Snow's coming in.
December was only her first World Cup race here. She's raced previously only in the Junior Worlds in 2020, so it's Wai's 3rd race on this track. Whereas our race leader, Lauren Alter, from the local Bob Club, BSC Winterberg, has had 3 medals here in 3 World Cup trips previously, looking for her 3rd straight win with Deborah Levy behind her.
She's 23 years old. She's from Dortmund. She's a sports soldier, but she's a business psychologist.
900 slower at the start, John. They were absolutely focused on the 0 curve and getting in and getting it clean.
Martin, they had an insurmountable lead. The only way she will not be the gold medalist at the bottom is she puts it on her helmet.
If she hangs it out 11 to 12.
Which she did in the first run. In the first run, she was 28. She's going to come down.
Gonna dodge the snow. She's very sideways.
Right here is where her problem was, this curve right here coming up, right here. That
2400s. She doesn't build the advantage, but it is a 3rd straight gold for Lauren Alter and Deborah Levy. Fantastic results.
They hung on there. Look at that second run, Martin. 5th best time of the run. And this athlete here, you know, Mark,
here's what I'm going to tell you, John. 7500's better than her first heat. Sleds in the top 6 went 1.7 seconds better. She got away with that, but that was a well-earned win.
And she gets closer to the World Cup title. I think she'll be ahead of Christine de Bruyn when we see the World Cup results. Nah, maybe not.
Could well be. Well, Christine, it's going to be very close.
My mind doesn't work that quick. But,
yes, it does. 4th for Lana, 5th for Christine, and Lauren Alter. She was the leader by 4400ths over Wai Mingming, by 48 over Kaylee Humphries. How far was she ahead of Kim Kilicki? 5400ths. She gave away 41 of those 5400ths, but held on to win it.
They didn't have a very good start there either, Martin. They're very conservative, Martin. They had a huge lead, but you know they didn't play offense here. They played defense, but they could with the big
out.
Yeah, the big lead. You know they could get away with it. They did.
Yeah.
But you know another gold medal. You know, and here's the final results. You can see good race. How many?
Well, Nolter and Kilicki, a German 1-2, ahead of Humphries, Myers, Taylor, and De Bruyn. Wai Mingming in 6th, ahead of Martina Fontanet. Huge result for the Swiss slider and for Brianna Walker. Mariam Yamanka rallied to 9th, ahead of Nadezhda Sergeva. Katy Bile 11th. Does that equal her best result of the season? I think it might do. Amisha McNeil, what might have been start draw number 1, ended up only in 14th position. Well, a topsy-turvy race with some topsy-turvy weather. But last night, if you'd had to pick a winner, you would have picked, very likely, Lauren Alter and Deborah Levy. So,
yeah,
all other things
good
being
reason.
equal, yeah, the hometown queen keeps her streak alive. 4 World Cup races on her home track. Bronze, gold, gold, gold. Again,
Martin,
shortening the odds with the bookies for the games.
Martin, who won the opening race in Yancheng?
Yeah.
These two right here. So if the bookies, this is your favorite right here, my opinion.
Yeah.
World Cup standings, what we're going to be looking at here. A lot of Myers, look at Nolta's moved up. Boy, 14, that's nothing. 35 points, that means a lot of Myers is going to have to stay within one position.
One place.
She stays one place to Laura Nolta. She'll win the title next week.
Ooh. First to second is 15. What's the gap? What's the gap between them at the top? I didn't see
it's
it.
Like 29 or something.
Yeah, all right. So, yeah. Winner takes all. It's going to be entertaining. And what a place to have a grandstand finale. St. Moritz, Switzerland will be the final race of the season for everybody before they then have a couple of weeks off and then contemplate heading to Beijing for what will be perhaps the strangest Winter Olympic Games in history. Well, that's it for women's bobsleigh from Winterberg. A rescheduled men's race. We should be on ice in 90 minutes. 1400 local, 1300 GMT, 0800 Eastern. Yeah, something like that. For John Morgan, I'm Martin Hagan saying thanks for being with us. We'll see you then. Bye for now.